All right, listen, this is a very special Inappropriate Earl. It's a UFC 175 recap. We got a lot of heavy hitters in the room right now. We got Jason Tebow.
Hey, everybody.
Jeff Amaral.
Pleasure to be here.
The great Chris Edwards.
Hello.
Lois, who started off the undercard by beating Gabriel Killian by biting him.
That was great. I'll shoot for that. That was
just
great.
for the mental note, Gabriel was running around like Henderson, running from Cormier in that last battle. And a great card. One fight canceled. Struve was having heart issues again. Didn't the guy have a hole in his heart?
Did that happen to him before? I didn't know that. If that's happened to him before.
No, he had a hole in his heart or something, a hole in his aortic valve. And then they said he couldn't fight, and then I guess they say he can, and I guess right before his fight he's getting palpitations.
Yeah, night of the fight he starts getting pre-fight jitters, and it nearly takes him down, yeah.
Which is too bad, because I thought he would have taken Mitrione.
So did I.
But, he didn't. And then the first fight were those, what was the first fight? Those two black dudes?
Hall versus Santos?
No, that wasn't the first fight.
One
first
before
fight
that.
was,
We came in
Brimage versus...
Brimage versus...
Yeah, Grimmage.
Doan?
Doan sounds right, yeah.
And Doan won, right?
Yeah. Doan won. And, a fight no one really cared about, but you got to have
It was
one.
a good fight, though.
Oh, that was the leg kicks. That was leg kicks and takedowns.
Gabriel Killian coming in from smoking pot in the balcony.
Oh, how's it going?
And he's also set up base camp at my computer, laying down action in the Nigerian Lacrosse League.
Making it happen, baby.
And Gabe, please speak into the mic, unlike last time where a question was directed at you and you would point the mic the complete opposite direction of your mouth.
Right.
I was pointing to the crowd.
Okay, anyway. And then Uriah Hall fought...
Bruce Leroy? No. That's Uriah's favorite, my bad. He fought Thiago Santos.
No, I know who he fought. I was just about to say it. This is what happens when you start the podcast smoking
You have no idea.
your cheap weed
going on?
Out of my balcony. And the big thing about that fight was Uriah Hall's toe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, it looked like a wishbone.
That is a tough dude.
It looked like he filleted the side of his toe.
Yeah.
Like his bone was sticking out.
And he might have broken his foot, too.
And fought 2 rounds. That didn't just happen in the last 30 seconds of the fight. He fought 2 more rounds.
And he threw hard.
It
He
was
threw
bouncing
just
up
as
and
hard.
down.
He was kicking with it.
Kicking with it?
And throwing
performance.
kicks with a possibly broken foot, but at the minimum a broken toe. He just earned a couple fights.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
people have been, even myself was talking about his heart, didn't know if he had the heart, and he just really kind of became a badass.
Well, they say
halfway
he's,
through that
they say he's too nice.
Yeah.
Which, I'm familiar with a guy by the name of George Laraque, who was like the heavyweight champion in the NHL, but he didn't really like fighting. He was just good at it. So we'll see what the future brings.
Yeah, no more apologies from Hall. His post-fight interview was star-making.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What did he say? I missed it.
I mean, he just...
When life knocks you down and you gotta and beats you up, you gotta get up and say, you look like a bitch.
Yeah. It was like, this was the speech he needed to
It's
hear.
like,
It was
it's like I don't know if all that happened. You
Yeah.
just broke your toe kicking somebody. I don't know if life is shitting on you right now.
But he'll be. I don't know who they give him. Who would be a worthy opponent for him?
Shit, man. I mean, he already got beat by. He got knocked out by.
Gastelum. No, he didn't get knocked out by. But the
Weidman.
No, I'm talking about Uriah Hall.
Oh.
I mean, maybe Gastelum. That's kind of
Gastelum deserves like a top. He's in the top 10.
Keeps winning.
They should put him with like a Tarek
Yeah,
Safdie
Uriah
or
Hall still has
something.
to kind of prove himself. He's got to do one more.
Yeah.
He's got to do one more fight.
So I mean,
And this guy was technically a welterweight. So
oh really?
Yeah, he was a 4-1 favorite over him, so he should have won.
Now you're like our betting expert on the show, so
Even though he's always
Bet on
down.
him.
I mean, you know what time it was.
The guy who's always down who knows all the stats.
That's always the guy that's always down.
Yeah.
It's always going to be. It's cheap
He's
about
super
the change.
precise, except
Always
about
down.
what he's lost.
I'm always
Yeah.
down. You kidding me? How many times have you seen me where I've been up thousands on my account?
Never.
I cannot recall a single time.
At the bar, I showed you. I
How
texted
many
you
times?
like last
Not
month.
once.
Did you work at Enron with your accounting methods?
No, I have known you to be up.
Lies out there. What's up?
I have known you to be up, but it was funny that when we got here during the undercards, we walked in and sat down on Earl's couch, and you go, "I'm already down 700."
Yeah,
the main card hadn't even started yet. When we were in the prelims, you were down 700.
Usually, I make my biggest bets on the prelims, and I lost on the split decision. But right now, I was down over $1,000 earlier, but now I'm only down $127.
Well, I'm sure this will drive up the views on the podcast. What your off-track betting account is.
I give out plays online, MMAoddsbreaker.com.
So do the opposite of what he says.
Yeah,
You
just
wanna
do
win.
absolutely.
But because you do have a blog on MMA where you do picks and whatnot, right?
Yeah, and the plays I recommended tonight killed pretty much. I think I haven't done the tally yet, but last week I really killed it. Last weekend alone, if you bet $100 per unit I recommended, you profited like $4,000.
You know, you're quite the storyteller, Gabe. And who you got
People
tomorrow
in
night?
Cabell know what I'm talking about.
Well, let's finish up this card. So, Uriah Hall, good heart.
Yep.
Now we get to the chick fight because the Struve Mitrione fight was gone, which I thought they should have there had to have been UFC heavyweights in the crowd.
They played it. Oh, you just.
Well, we know Kane was there. We saw Kane.
But I mean, there had to have been like a number 15 guy, like a Todd Duffy in the crowd.
Like, let Kane come in and beat his wife, knock his wife around.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Sylvia working the parking lot.
Something like that. Yeah.
Parking Dana's car. I mean, would they have to get medical approval to fight? I guess they would.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta make
Signs,
all kinds
But
of
I mean,
shit.
come on, how cool would that be? Just,
I swear this
Yeah,
video where
they
that
could have
actually
just
happened.
brought it out to the
I'm
parking
sure it
lot.
has.
yeah, and this is like Survivor Series, and
Yeah.
maybe Sting comes down from the
Yeah,
rafters.
it's like a hardcore match. Hardcore
Yeah.
Holly.
Is he alive? I think he's dead though, so he's gonna have trouble.
Hardcore
maybe.
Holly's gonna have a hard time doing anything.
I mean, I don't think have any wrestlers died this week, Gabe? What's the under on that? I'll take the over on the under there. So we get to the Rousey Davis fight. I mean, kind of to put it in
Surprising.
wrestling terms, a squash match.
Yeah.
That's surprising. I mean, I thought they were going to strike for a little while. I thought, I got to tell you this, man. That's one tough cookie.
You guys were surprised Rousey was a 1,000 favorite.
Her.
I'm not surprised Rousey won. I just thought that was going to be a little bit more of what we've seen with some of these, female MMA fights, where it's like a little bit slower paced, not that much of effective striking, and then some sort of submission. That was a fucking straight up butt kicking.
Yeah.
Well, I do love how they built up Davis to like have a legitimate chance. It's like,
Does anybody have a fucking chance against this chick?
It's the worst thing that they do. They keep building up these girls.
Well, they've got to.
Yeah.
well, Cyborgs and that girl Holly Holm, she could box with Rousey.
Yeah, Holly Holm has the mental toughness too. She finished a fight when she got a broken I think
Toe.
she broke. Was it a toe?
I don't know.
She broke a tit.
Rousey's
What,
Broke
Gabe?
the right tit and kept fighting.
She had the broken sweat. That's really bad.
Rousey's taking her down and submitting her within like a minute.
Who, Holm?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's gonna walk into those bombs though.
So she could take a punch or two.
Holm's a different animal though.
Boxing
She
champ.
will be the best boxer Rousey's ever fought, and you just can't walk.
Yeah, but
right.
she's
Yeah, but
not-
Rousey's striking was
She's not
just-
exactly
good
a
too.
knockout artist.
She's getting better and better and better.
Fast hands, man.
At like all
scary.
kinds of things.
She's like Wonder Woman. She's literally.
I gotta tell you, man, I
Amazon
was really, really impressed with that fucking fight.
Oh yeah, I mean she's no joke, but her style is reckless.
Definitely.
So against Holm though, or Cyborg, I mean that's the real money fight there. That's
true.
You can't be reckless. I mean,
Yeah, no one's really ever put a good
Yeah.
combo.
well, Davis did land one. I wouldn't say bomb, but it was a nice left.
Yeah,
and,
left, overhand left.
She ate those punches like it
But
was
she
nothing, man.
sure does. She eats that shit like a picnic lunch. She just
Yeah.
walks right through it, grabs you, flips you, and fucks you.
Yeah, no, and her tits got bigger. I think she was on her period or something. You imagine fighting her on her period?
Can you imagine her as your fucking wife? Oh,
my
you forget to
God.
take the trash out?
God,
Ugh.
that's nasty.
If she's your wife, you never forget to take the trash out.
you don't
Just-
forget
you
shit.
forget once and then never again. She puts you in an arm bar. And you're like,
sleep
Never
with a
come
mouthpiece
early
in.
either. I tell you that much.
You sleep with a mouthpiece in every night. That's it.
So I mean,
She fucks other dudes in front of you.
and you're
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, okay.
And they're all MMA guys, so you can't get mad at either one.
Yeah.
I feel
They're
like
practicing.
I feel like for fun, Ronda Rousey sometimes just like literally just goes out on a bike, finds some unwilling guy, and just wrestles him to the ground, just fucks him.
I'm going to
Just-
fuck you,
just out in the street.
and you're going to make me come.
What would you rather do? What would you rather have? Would you rather fuck Ronda Rousey or have Ronda Rousey fuck you?
Well, either way, you're going to have her fuck you, so...
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, can you imagine?
I think she could still kick your ass in the sack even if you like hog tied her.
Oh, sure.
Dude, she's in the...
Spin like she's gonna get out of chains and
Yeah,
shit.
she's like
I feel like I'd have to drug
her
her.
dynasty may be the like one of the best fighters of all time. Like she's just it's insane the way she ruins.
Well, not
people.
since Tyson really has anybody been quite
Yeah.
this intimidating and dominant.
And there's, the two chicks who could beat her aren't even in the UFC.
Yeah.
So
No.
there's no threat. Isn't she fighting next month?
Yep.
Against who? Zingano?
Yep.
Well, we don't know. It depends on how badly Dana White yelled at Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that was
dude.
hilarious.
You never see Rogan shut down, and you could
Yeah,
just
he
see...
looked, Dana White looked pissed off.
Even
I
in
think
that
Rogan
next
did anything
segment.
wrong.
Well, the camera guy was the funniest thing in that whole thing. It's like he like caught like a little bit. Then was like, okay, we need to go. Let's follow the guy leaving the ring.
But you could even tell in that next segment, Rogan was like, it looked like Cindy Brady in that one episode where she was staring at the camera. It's like, Dana just yelled at me. Take it away, Goldberg. So,
Yeah.
and then the main event. I wouldn't. It's a great fight.
Great fight. Definitely fight of the night.
It was a good fight, man. I would have liked to seen, be interesting if that could have gone one more round because it was right when it was 3 rounds to. I mean, to me, that was first 3 rounds and then second 2 rounds was sort of the tale of 2 different fights. Man, if that could have gone one more round, it'd been interesting to see what they both had in the tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Machida, I feel like he just didn't come on until 4th. He won the 4th round and he won the 5th round to me.
Yeah, I mean that's it. That's pretty fair.
I think he was
3-2.
intimidated. I just think for the first half of the fight,
He was getting
intimidated.
bullied.
Well, he's not used to pressure like that.
No.
Usually it's guys kind of afraid, except for Henderson.
Yeah.
I will say Weidman definitely showed me he's got a chin. That's one thing a lot of people wanted to see.
Oh, yeah. He's
He definitely showed he had a chin.
And Machida.
Machida for sure.
think
But we've always known that about Machida, that he's just, he's had enough of these huge fights throughout his career that we know that he has heart. We know who he is. With Weidman, there's a lot of question marks going into this.
I feel like I've now totally respect Weidman as like a strategist.
Oh, yeah.
His ability to because everything that those first 3 rounds Machida was throwing at him, Weidman had an answer for.
100%.
None of those kicks were catching him off guard. None of the things that even when he was rushing him and he'd try and hit him with those body kicks, Weidman was ready for almost all of it. And it's like the way that he beat Silva is by planning for it. Like his pregame or whatever they're doing is outstanding.
What do you do now if you're Machida? Where do you go now?
I mean,
Get another big fight. Probably headline a Brazil card or something.
yeah, I mean, I think Bigfoot Silva's headlining the next Brazil card. That's who Arlovsky's fighting.
And there's a Brazil pay-per-view coming too in Rio de Janeiro.
Going to be a real stink fest. Yeah. And I love Arlovsky, but he did not look good against Schaub. And, in Brazil, I'm sure Bigfoot's going to be juiced to the fucking gills.
I'm not a Bigfoot guy either.
Both will.
I like Bigfoot, but
I
I
know.
think I think it's common knowledge that the testing in Brazil isn't exactly
High on their priority list?
It's
Just
non-existent.
consistently forget to do it.
yeah, or they
I'm sure everybody's
they just
fine.
sniff your piss.
yeah, you're good. Bigfoot, your piss
Just
is
give it to an old guy. Just holds it up to the light.
They just watch you. No, they just watch you pee. Looks good. He's
Bigfoot,
peeing.
your piss is black, but yeah, you're good. Have Belfort, Vitor, come in there.
Blowtorch.
That's natural.
Well, I mean, it is
Yeah,
kind of
if
funny.
If they can't light it on fire, they send you through.
But yeah, I mean, well, now with TRT gone, and
Yeah.
who knows what they're taking in Brazil, and
Yeah.
Belfort's down there.
You can still do blood transfusions and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Get around it.
Well, I have a friend of mine who used to fight. He just got cut from Bellator, which
Yeah.
is probably beneficial for him. But he said if they want someone to pass, they'll pass.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Lance Armstrong should come back as an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, I don't mind Lance Armstrong cheating because everyone in cycling
Yeah,
is
that's
cheating.
true.
The top guys, anyway.
Yeah,
so it was
absolutely.
an even field.
Yeah, everybody else on the podium was doper
juiced,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Now, what do they take in cycling? Not the same shit. Winstraw?
what was it
Because
called?
Winstraw was what Ben Johnson was taking.
Lance Armstrong
It's
was
this thing
taking
that
the
increases
same stuff
your blood
Charles Sumner got
cells
busted for.
so that you can have more oxygen.
Yeah, you can oxygenate faster.
and so you just
Okay.
are less likely to get tired.
Yeah, and they do a lot of blood transfusions.
Yeah,
and-
they'll like literally
yeah.
they'll do training in Colorado or like in the mountains.
Yeah.
where because basically it has the same effect of training in high altitudes.
Right.
Because then your body produces more blood. So they'll do that, and then they'll literally take that out, put it in a bag, take it with them to the Tour de France, and then like halfway through they'll just put all this blood back into their like this oxygenated blood. They'll put it back in their system,
Interesting.
like mid race.
Yeah.
That's what I do in my ball hockey league. I play it on Sundays.
Yeah. That's what I do when I fuck.
Well, I don't fuck, so.
You're beating off. You're like your fourth beat off of the day, and you're just like, I need more blood.
I need more oxygen.
Transfusion right in your dick.
It's literally like
Look who's hard
Yeah, I
again. Old oxygenated dick.
There's all kinds of things you can take to blow it out better. So, you know, I know this is a UFC, and we got the Ultimate Fighter tomorrow night. I don't think there's enough cards this weekend.
No shit, man.
it's almost too much. They need to start cutting people.
Yeah.
The one-armed guy Nick Neal fought today for a World Series.
Oh, is that
title.
happening?
I watched that earlier.
Did he win?
Wait,
I
wait,
got
don't
beat
spoil
the
it. Don't
fuck.
spoil it.
Beat off. He beat off. He beat off.
He beat off. But listen, speaking of one-armed guys, I'm going to Tuesday, a fabulous forum to see Kiss and Def Leppard. So maybe Nick will fill in for a Rick Allen song or two.
Nice.
Maybe.
It's open.
Can't believe I'm still going to see Kiss in 2014.
And they can't believe you're going either. They're like, we
much
sold
are those
one
tickets?
ticket.
I'm pretty sure they perform sitting
That
down.
one guy that's always here.
Yeah, they perform from the
There's
couch.
Earl. Earl, we're going to sing Lick It Up for you. Earl, you like to get licked, right? I just go for the song intros now. I walk out when they start playing.
I watched a video of Gene Simmons doing a bass solo that was pretty
dude, it's-
incomprehensible.
Dude, it's like he had two broken hands.
Yeah.
And he could have been a good bass player, but he's just too into making money.
Yeah.
Why, he pays, you know, why be in a studio for 14 hours
Right.
when you just
God,
pay
it's
some
so
dude?
funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's an extra couple grand. Shut
Yeah.
up.
And
You
then
can't
just
you know.
do some power chords with a lot of distortion.
Yeah, and then every once in a while, I just grab the bass and rock out.
But that's the great thing about Kiss. And I'm assuming no one in this room likes Kiss enough to go see them.
No, I would not see him.
Not for what they cost.
You have to go though because they do everything to distract you from how bad their music is.
Well, of course.
And you walk out going,
Fire.
the fucking drum kit rising to the ceiling.
Yeah.
The guy dressed up as Ace shooting laser beams out of the guitar. Gene going to the ceiling, blood all over his face. Paul flying over to the crowd when he's singing "Do You Love Me?" And you're like, you walk out going, "This is the greatest band ever."
Right.
Because they got Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, they have superpowers.
You know, it's like, you know, you hear a Dane Cook joke, you're like, oh, that's okay, I guess. But then you see him tell him live, and you're like, this guy's great.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a compliment. It doesn't sound like one, but
No, I know exactly what you're saying, though. It's showmanship.
Theater, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Kiss is in
Energy.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's insane, and I'm like their biggest fan. They couldn't even play one song together. They hate each other so much.
yeah.
Good for them. Everyone was a win-win that day.
So, but they're doing a whole retouring again now?
Well, it's Gene and Paul, and then two guys that dress up as Ace and Peter. So it's like the
Wow.
Jewish Menudo. I mean,
Wow.
it's just,
That's insane.
I know.
Jewish menudo.
And I know the drummer. He doesn't give a fuck. The fans hate him, and he's like, I don't care. I'm getting paid good money to
Yeah.
dress up like
What do you
Peter.
think a guy like that's getting paid for that tour?
I mean, you know, I'm assuming him and the guitar player get no cut of the merch.
Probably not.
I'm guessing
Oh
$5
my
grand
God.
a week.
They get no merch.
And it's their fucking face.
grand a
week.
They might get a spare, knowing
Yeah.
Gene. Gene may give him a percent of a percent of a percent.
Right.
But that's still good money. I mean, On a night they play the Forum Tuesday, that's a night where they'll make $300,000 in merch sales.
Wow.
That's one show. Tonight they're in Irvine, same thing. So I mean, that's where I think that's why they still tours the merch. No one buys their records anymore.
Yeah.
Their last record was so bad, I downloaded it on iTunes, uploaded it right back to them.
Send it back. Not bad. I like that. When was the last time they had an album?
They crank them out still.
Literally, they just jerk them out.
Right. I mean, Paul comes on a CD and they freeze it, and it's whatever it plays. So no, you have to go for Paul's song intros, even if you don't like Kiss. The way he said, it's like a hack comic. He's like a hack song intro guy.
Yeah.
He's like, every city they're in, it's their hometown.
Cars.
It's like, we're from LA. It's like, that first album, you said you were from Detroit. And whenever you're at Madison Square Garden, you say you're from New York. So it's like, where are you guys from? I mean,
right.
So, but Paul, they're we got an undercard fight. Bubba Bush.
This was nice. Did anyone watch this?
No. I'm not watching Bubba Bush against Kevin Casey
saying
when I have to find parking in the garage for
It
all
was
you
pretty
guys.
awesome. Like, watch.
All right, well, let's not watch while we're on the pod. We're live, Gabe. This is radio, not TV.
It's pretty quick.
So, okay, well, that is pretty quick. It's a black guy.
They're not that quick.
All right, so we're watching right now Bubba Bush against Kevin Casey.
If another white guy came in here,
well,
I mean,
and I think Casey gets the sponsorship of the night, Ultra Lube, right over his butthole. So there you go.
Pretty much. Pretty much, huh?
So tomorrow, I'm not really interested in it. I
only care about I'm a huge BJ Penn fan, so I only care about that fight.
But Edgar's already beat him twice.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like, what's the
Penn
point?
won the first fight, though.
Oh, and then they
Everyone
gave
thought-
it to Edgar anyway?
Yeah, the judges did, but everyone watching thought Penn won.
And then I didn't watch this season's Ultimate Fighter. Did you guys?
I watched it.
Oh, yeah, watch it.
Did you? Were you into it? So you know.
I mean, there was one guy, and
See that?
he's actually fighting tomorrow. This guy Dan Spawn. He didn't make it to the semifinals or whatever, but he. I think he's like a really good fighter, so I'm gonna have my eye on him tomorrow. And it's just like an old school karate guy, just kind of
The ninja.
Yeah, does a lot of weird training. They showed it in the house. Like, he does a lot of weird isometrics and stuff, and was really kicking everybody's ass for a little. His fight to get in the house was one of the most brutal knockouts I've ever seen.
Worse than the Uriah Hall one?
I mean,
One
it was
punch
bad.
knockout.
He one punched this guy, moving backwards. It was beautiful. The guy was done for a while.
This
It
guy
was good.
This guy Casey looks like a baby Bob Sapp. I mean,
It does.
minus the hairy deltoids.
Yeah.
Boom.
And the complete lack of respect for
This was a
any-
fight between RFA
Mixed
middleweight
martial
champion
artist.
and Legacy FC middleweight champion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I met Bob Sapp once. I said, "Good luck in your next fight." He looked at me like I was speaking Mandarin. I'm like, I mean, he's a big guy, so you're definitely respectful to him.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean,
He was just waiting for you to say, "Sir."
yeah, I'm like,
You don't wanna
yes.
piss that guy
Fights like a
off.
kitten these days, though.
Well, they're into those freak show fights, and he actually tweeted me once, "Stop making fun of me on Twitter." And
Really?
I kept saying there was some injury. I'm like, how about Bob Sapp against Arch Emerson? Who's the guy who came to the first UFC with one boxing glove? I love those first three UFCs.
Me too.
We were talking about it before, but I really wish I know it could never, fucking happen, but just one night only. Go back to the UFC 1 rules.
Yeah.
You come in the cage.
Guys in gis and
Guys in
Bouncers, lumberjack,
yeah,
overalls.
one guy who developed a fighting style in his basement.
guys in auto shop hoodies. Yeah. Don Fry knocking out cab drivers.
Bikers. I want bikers back in the UFC.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that could never happen, and I'm sorry for those of you not in this house. It is scorching hot in my house.
It is hot.
I'm
It
sorry.
got hot.
Yeah,
I mean, Tebow's dressed like Billy Bob Thornton right now, and he's still sweating. Yeah, we are talking fights. Just finish up making your fucking bets.
What are you doing? I'm Rogue Report over there? Gabe's been sitting at Earl's computer ever since he cut his $1,000 bet
Well,
into $300.
No, it adds to the dynamic. And besides, you and Lois aren't friendly, so let's
that's the fight I want to see. I want to see the Gabe Lois fight.
Yeah.
Well, Lois
Dog's got to cut weight.
Lois has some abuse issues, and
Lois is sitting here mean mugging.
Yeah.
Lois is, or Gabe is the second person Lois has bitten in this house at a UFC fight.
Who's the first?
Jeff Danis.
Yes, I love it.
Danis went to go to the bat. Lois was abused. So when I think the problem is when a guy gets up, she just, whatever happened to her in her past, she gets a flashback. And, I'm sorry, Gabe. Sorry, Jeff Danis. And,
I'm not sorry.
It's not a mark against her character.
Yeah, man.
All right, Gabe. Once again, and providing energy to the podcast.
It didn't just hurt physically. It sounds like it hurt his feelings.
Let's mix in a little roast battle since we have a lot of guys. I think.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I technically did one roast battle against Boone. It was a squash match, but Chris was recently on an undercard.
Yeah.
A roast battle for you UFC fans going, what the fuck it's at? It's basically, well, Chris, how would you describe it? It's at the Comedy Store.
At the Comedy Store, two comics, kind of doing like a schoolyard.
Not yo
insult
mama,
slinging.
but insults, I guess.
Yeah.
Bagging.
Yeah.
And
just
Chris,
bragging on each other.
who did you battle?
I went up against Cody Morley, and I lost. I had an unfortunate loss to that. He was actually really good. I kind of underestimated what he was going to bring, but he had. I learned a lot about how crazy the crowd is.
Oh man!
And at the roast, and how much they just really want blood. They want it quick.
Mm-hmm.
They want it. They want you to. They don't want you to be reading off your notebook. They really want you to be like angry and in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't wait to do it again. But yeah, it was a learning experience. And even though I lost, it was a great time.
But the great thing about losing, and probably the worst thing about winning, is I think 2 minutes after it's over, no one gives a shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So much build up.
Yeah.
Like you, Jeff, fought Rich Slayton.
That's right.
And now you guys kind of did it almost like me and Gabe discussed doing one where you guys wrote for each other.
Well, we met up and like offered information on each other. We've been friends for a long time, but only in one very particular, two contexts, like in comedy, which is like, you do bits and joke around and stuff, but you don't really learn that much about somebody's life, like it takes a really long time for comedians to like actually like learn basic shit, like do you have a family? Things like that. And we'd watched UFC together and played video games and stuff. So it's like I'd been to his house. I knew his wife some, but like, there was just a lot of history and I learned a lot. We met up, had coffee, and like I offered a bunch of just odd personal history for, things that I thought might make good roast jokes. And he gave me some stuff that might make some good roast jokes. And it also added an extra element because we both could really try to think of counters. So it's like I knew if he used some of the stuff that I gave him, what I was going to come back with, and he knew the same thing. We actually used very sparingly the things, but it was good for the energy. Like
that was a great roast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Tebow's been in a few of them, right? You're 1-1.
1-1, yeah. I beat Matt Nelson. I lost to Castillo. Frank and I did the same thing. We went and had coffee. And I was just like, dude.
Yeah, but you might have had the greatest closing line ever in your victory against Matt Nelson. We can't say it on this podcast for two reasons. One, it's a dirty word, and two, there's a black man in the house. So,
There's a black man.
There was a rule, that, and I guess it doesn't apply anymore, but there was a rule that if it was two white people going against each other, they each got one free
N-word
use of the N-word.
What'd you think of, speaking of like the N-word and that kind of stuff, even though he didn't use it, Anthony from Opie and Anthony got released.
I didn't. You might have to leave this topic because I saw he got released, but I didn't.
He got attacked by a woman on the street in New York.
He was taking a picture
Yeah.
of just the scenery, and a woman who happened to be in frame, a black woman, called him. This is Anthony's. Of course, this is only his side of the story.
Sure,
but according to him, she called him a white motherfucker and started coming after him.
Right.
And he's like a gun owner. and had a gun on him and everything like that, and like and very much into the white man is now an oppressed. Becoming much more of an oppressed
and he got a
figure
picture of
in
her.
society.
He got a picture of her like right before
Got
she
a
started
picture
attacking
of her.
him, and then just went on a string of
Called her
tweets
savage.
about how like look at these people who go to violence immediately. This animal, he called her an animal.
Might be onto something. No, I'm just kidding.
But the crazy thing is that this happened totally outside of a work context.
Yeah.
And he lost his job over it, which to me seems a little excessive. Like, I don't like the precedent that sets. Like, he said some really fucked up stuff, but
Oh, it's horrible. But I mean, maybe he can own the Clippers or something. He's got that radio money. Maybe him and Donald Sterling can.
Did he say like racist shit?
Not. I mean, he called her an animal.
Well,
he
I
called
mean,
her
an
a
animal.
savage.
Yeah.
But
So
I mean, that is. But it's like I feel like what he was talking about more of was just about the ability to go from like 0 to 10 and like just go to violence and start attacking. It's uncalled for.
Because if she was a white person or anything else,
Well,
he might have used the exact same words of like, because what he was, it sounds like he's talking about.
he
Like,
was extrapolating.
the other person goes right to violence like a
probably
fucking
was-
savage animal, but because
it
it,
called a white woman like a bitch though, as a
Or cunt.
Maybe.
I mean, they're all.
And he wouldn't
cunts.
have, and he probably wouldn't have related it to like a hey, you know, this is like I'm not going to be able to even defend myself.
It
because,
did get racial.
Yeah, it got
but
racial.
The thing
but-
is though, like it's serious, right? It's not AM FM.
Yeah.
I thought the whole point of serious was like
right.
the
this
radio
is-
use.
But they have
alternative-
a high
anything.
profile.
I think they even call
High-profile
themselves
show.
alternative radio, right?
I mean, Howard Stern has said the N word on air. I mean, not in a almost in a mocking.
Howard Stern is like pretty much sexually assaulted women on his show.
Yeah.
So it's like
But Bongo
anything-
Fiesta, you don't.
No, this is like anything is up for grabs. What's crazy is that like
The Lord of the
can't do
anal ring
anything.
toss.
Can't do anything now.
Well, they're taking away the meaning of. Sorry.
No, don't say sorry to me. I think the Hobbit over here just said something. Okay, but I think some people might have missed out on that gem.
Please.
Action.
The Lord of the anal ring toss.
Okay, Gabe, you keep back on the computer and.
It was a game on the Stern Show.
But Stern,
Well, I'm just surprised he was listening to us.
Yeah.
Anal ring toss.
the Lord of the
There was
Anal.
Anal ring toss.
Yeah,
Lord of the
they would
anal
stick
ring toss.
put a stick in the stripper's ass and take turns throwing
What is he talking
rings on it.
It's a pun. Okay, the Lord of the Ring anal ring toss is
Yeah.
a bad pun that they turned into a reality.
Well, didn't.
Artie
It's
Lang,
a game.
An actual game.
Well, yeah, they did have some wacky games. Like I think they recently had Benji
I haven't heard.
get
listened to
his
one.
prostate checked by Perez Hilton. I mean, I think it's time to call it a day when a writer came up with that idea.
Exactly.
So, all right, we got BJ.
That was pitched. Somebody pitched
Oh,
that.
I know, that's crazy.
I feel like I'm on mescaline right now. I feel like we've stopped talking about reality.
I know. People are tuning in. When's the UFC talk happen? We're talking about Benji getting his butt probed, right? By so what cards are coming up? Let's steer it back to
Tomorrow, the Ultimate Fighter 19 finale. BJ
tomorrow's
Penn.
boring.
tomorrow's boring though. I mean, BJ Penn, Edgar
There's
probably
some good
wins.
fights on
Yeah.
it.
But no one really cares.
All right, the next one is Cerrone versus Miller.
Boy, Gabe's come to life now that betting is a possibility.
Donald Cerrone versus Jim Miller, July 6th.
August
There's no
28th,
way
John
Cerrone
Jones
loses that
and
fight.
Gustafsson, right?
September, I think.
September 20th. Okay, so that's a bit from now.
September
Yeah, that's
27th.
September.
So who, Gabe? This is like your little segment because you haven't talked a lot.
let's hear.
All right. So who's on the Cerrone card?
The main card is Cerrone and Miller.
Good fight?
Yeah, great lightweight fight. The co-main event's also in the lightweight division with the Edson Barboza versus Evan Dunham. Another excellent fight.
Who you got? Who you
I
got?
like Barboza in that one. I
I'll
like
go on Dunham.
Cerrone in the main event.
I'll go on whoever Cerrone.
I do like Cerrone though. What's win? Then who's on 176?
That is 176, right?
176 is Musasi versus Jacare too.
I like that. I like Musasi's style, kind of that. It's almost like he's lazy and doesn't want to be there, but it's just his thing.
Yeah,
Great fighter, and some good cards coming up. And I think when there's Velasquez and Verdum in Mexico, is that next Ultimate Fighter?
November.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's like a Mexican Ultimate Fighter.
No, it's not. I don't think it's related to the Ultimate Fight. I think it's just.
Oh, I thought it
it's
was.
a pay-per-view.
I thought they were coaching against each other.
They are, but their matchup
fight
is not
is
on the finale.
okay.
The finale is separate than their pay-per-view.
Because they just announced the 20 contestants, the all-female at 115 now. I guess there is going to be a second
female cast.
That's
Every
what
single person on the
Anthony
show
Pettis
makes it
and
to the
Gilbert
UFC.
Melendez.
Yeah.
So they'll have a weight class. Yeah.
Well, let's end it with this. Some not breaking news necessarily, but Chael Sonnen had like 5 different kinds of drug tests he failed. I say he's been cheating the whole time. What as Bill O'Reilly would say? What say you?
You're talking about Chael?
Yeah.
I mean, man,
What is his legacy?
When there's smoke, there's fire. Same as it is for Barry Bonds. Same as it is for Sammy Sosa. Same as it is for McGuire. Same as it is for everybody who achieved a lot of good things in sports. Whether you were the best and the champ or not, he's a well-respected athlete. Then you find this out. How can you prove that he wasn't? I mean, you're in sports, especially when it comes to this performance-enhancing drug thing that's been so popular for 15, 20 years to talk about. You're guilty. The minute you're found guilty, you're guilty your whole career.
Yeah.
It's always will have that asterisk by it.
But Chael will more be remembered for his antics than his actual fighting anyway.
Well, that's what I was about to say. It's not that when I think of Chael Sonnen, I don't think of being a great fighter. I think of the Chael Sonnen who does a lot of dirty talk, and Chael Sonnen, the UFC commentator, like he's on those like sports shows.
Amazing. He actually managed to become popular in Brazil through the Ultimate Fighter coaching there.
Yeah, because Vanderlei
was so out of his mind.
Out of his mind. Well, you talk about a guy who's going to have Parkinson's.
Yeah.
I mean, Vanderlei is just...
There's going to be a new name for something Vanderlei has.
He looks Vanderlei. He's got Vanderlei. Yeah. I mean, he is going to...
He just looks like...
We've talked about it before, though. Some of those are...
He's the missing link.
You talk about the NFL players suing. I mean, I don't know what the legalities of the UFC
probably
are.
20 years away from that, but that's probably 20 years away.
I mean, can you imagine Gary Goodrich, who's got not Parkinson's, but some
brain disease,
Alzheimer's or something?
Especially when you look at like a lot of these guys.
You're right.
Whatever happens with this NFL lawsuit, which is a very big thing, with all these people with concussions that are players from the 80s and 90s that are now getting this. Whatever happens with this, 20 years from now, you're going to see the exact same thing happen with the UFC.
Well, I think so.
I don't know though, because the thing with the NFL is that it would be people would get hurt, hit their head, and then they'd give them a shot or something, and then send them back out. UFC's very good about like, all right, you're hurt, stop. Like,
but were they back in the first, say, 5?
No.
I mean, you had the one guy lose his tooth, fly out into the crowd.
One guy getting punched in the balls over and over
so
again.
those guys are
Keith Hagney. Hagney's the same dude who fought that 700-pound sumo guy, Manny Yarborough.
That's right.
And beat him.
Yeah.
Because Yarborough threw a punch. He was so fucking fat, he fell over.
Yep.
And then you just see like...
Yarborough has the only MMA win by smother.
Really?
Yeah.
Smothering.
He was laying on a guy and the guy tapped out.
How long did it last?
I want to get a tip.
Until the other guy came, and then he's like, I better call it.
Did you remember that? I was with you. I saw that fight where the guy he lost the fight because he wouldn't get up from the butt sit.
That's right. There was a guy scooting around on his butt.
Was it Umaga? WWE reference.
Some third-rate MMA organization, and this jiu-jitsu guy fell to his kept sitting down, essentially, just sitting down in the ring.
Yeah, because he's good on the ground. Yeah. He could do, he's good grappling.
And then butt scooting, and then the ref took a point from him, and then eventually I think I think he might have been disqualified.
Yeah,
he was
they
disqualified for,
Wow.
and it says if you look him up, I can't remember this guy's name, but on SureDog, it in brackets it says butt scoot.
Yeah, refusing to
Get up from butt
scoot.
scoot.
It's like the funniest loss.
Well, that was like that one fight in Strikeforce with Overeem and Verdum, where Verdum, like, he would just drop. He wouldn't even get hit. And he'd make the praying motion to Overeem, like, please come down. And Overeem was like, fuck
Yeah,
you.
no
yeah.
way.
Yeah, no
Fucking
shit.
swarmy Brazilian schwammer.
Yeah.
What's Overeem up to, Gabe? I mean,
I think he's dealing with an injury right now.
I think he's with Jackson's camp now.
That is true.
He seems to be.
He bounces around.
I've heard through the grapevine that he's not a very good guy in these camps. Like
I think he's not liked in these camps. I've heard that as well.
like he's like a bully. Tries to like I guess he was with the Black Zillions and was trying to fuck around with Anthony Johnson, and Johnson apparently was tagging him. Like he fucked with the wrong guy. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
So
I heard he wouldn't train with anyone. Like he would just go to his own corner and not talk to anyone.
so
He keeps getting punished for being like that, like the way his fights go.
yeah. I mean, I'm starting to think. I don't know. It's like he gets taught proper defense, and then he just says, fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't know much about MMA, but I'm assuming it's not good defensive style to have your chin over your toes
Right, leaning forward.
with your hands
Your
down.
hands below your waist.
Watch the Travis Brown fight.
Yeah.
He's literally. Brown missed on the first 7 front kicks.
Remember when we were doing that comedian boxing thing, and you and I were Eric Oligny's corner guy?
Yeah, that was.
But the whole gag we were doing was just giving him like awful advice the
Yeah.
whole time while he's boxing.
Hands down,
hands down, dude. Chin out, hands down, bro. You're dazzling him by taking these absorb more punches.
Cross your legs.
and at one
Lean
point,
in, chin up, bro. You got this.
he turned his back to the guy he was fighting and just like exposed his ribs and was like, he was like this. And probably not the 3 hours before the fight drinking about 27 cans of Diet Coke and smokes. That might not have been the greatest training regimen.
Yeah, he trains for fights like 14-year-olds just live.
But that's what made the Comedy Store boxing matches great. You also had 2 500-pound comics taking 12 minutes between rounds.
A door guy fight, Boone Shakalaka.
Yeah, and the main event was PJ Stansberry against a guy with, what is Wester's physical ailment?
Palsy, some sort of
Cerebral palsy. And when I say cerebral palsy, he's got it. I mean,
Well, what was funny about that is that, like, because he just naturally walks like that, every time he would get punched, he never went down. But every time he would get punched, I've watched so much boxing and MMA in my life.
Right.
Like, he would have that wobbled walk where your brain and instincts go, he's hurt.
He's going down.
And then you're like, no, that's just how he walks. He's just doing footwork right now.
he was like a human weeble. Like he would like, oh my god,
The whole time.
He
So
would,
it's
like,
really
be
funny
like-
to watch because as a fan of boxing, combat sports like that, every punch made it look like he was now staggered.
Right.
So would you guys,
And that he's fighting through it somehow.
100%.
would you guys watch like a Special Olympics version of the UFC?
Retard.
oh, I would love to see like Meyerowitz and
Probably would have to.
battling. Much love. I'm sorry, I just broke your arm.
Can you imagine trying to do jujitsu?
Yeah. No. People with Parkinson's. You have a jiu-jitsu tournament.
I'd like to see
Oh my
wheelchair
God.
boxing.
I wasn't
They start
tapping.
an
I wasn't
earthquake.
tapping. What are you talking
I
about?
wasn't tapping. I was just having a seizure. You fucking idiot.
Yeah, I think wheelchair boxing is what I'd see. I like to see two guys in wheelchairs just sitting in front of each other, just throwing hard rights.
Dude, I'm telling you, that could get on Spike TV within 3 hours.
Absolutely.
Probably.
You pimp
It's probably
out
on
the
right now.
wheelchairs,
Yeah,
make them look all good.
yeah. Kind of go like the murder ball way, but then like they're just throwing right hands.
Well, what's that show on ABC where they do those wacky stunts and it's like regular people? It's like obstacle courses.
Oh,
but-
Wipeout.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have pitched that to me as a TV executive, I'd be like, you're fucking nuts. Who's going to watch this? And it's like a huge hit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
So,
Lorenzo Furtado, one of the guys who owns the UFC, did a little side business for a minute where he did ultimate arm wrestling. Did you guys see this?
No.
I could see that playing.
It was two guys chained to a table arm wrestling, and the first guy to either win the arm wrestling match or knock the other guy out. won
They
the
could
match.
punch each other?
Yeah, they could punch each other. And there were submissions you could do with the table. One guy choked a guy out, like, using the table. Look it up on YouTube.
Whoa.
Oh, there's some great shit on YouTube.
Wow.
Man. I've been obsessed the last month and a half with the Ultimate Warrior's shoot video on Hulk Hogan, which is about an hour and 20 minutes. And even if you don't like pro wrestling,
It's worth it.
it's funny to see this guy have so much anger and venom. And it's real. It's not, I mean, you know.
The Ultimate Warrior was something else. He was like a totally different.
His name was Warrior,
Yeah.
for God's sakes.
Yeah.
I mean, he fucking changed. His kids, when they go to school, are called Joe Warrior and Janine Warrior.
Right.
Jim Hellwig. What
Yeah, his real name's James Hellwig. Then he left the WWE a couple times, and Vince McMahon copyrighted his name and basically said, "Fuck you! I'm going to sell millions of T-shirts with your name on it. You're not getting $1." And then he's like, "Well, no, fuck you! I'm going to change my name to Warrior, Vince. Suck on that."
They put out a like an anti-Ultimate Warrior documentary that I watched.
Self-destruction.
Yeah.
The best part was Christian's imitation of the.
Have you guys seen the
Ultimate
Razor Ramon one? That's sad, man.
Let's not go into the Razor Ramon just yet. I mean, we're talking about Warrior here. He just died.
That he did that.
That's true.
That's
That's
really
very
smart that he
sad.
changed his name.
I mean, it's crazy, but it's brilliant at the same time.
It's like what Prince did when they're like, "We're
Yeah.
not going to let you out of your contract." He's like,
Yeah.
"Well, fuck you.
Yeah.
My name is a symbol now."
Well, the best was when Warrior died,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that was great.
and
My bad.
no, it's all good. Lois is a little jumpy still. She just let out a bomber, I think, because something smells over here, and so that's like the
Lois'
5-minute
special
cue.
move.
That's the 5-minute cue.
Yeah.
Because that means she's got to take a dump,
Yeah.
and shit is real hard to clean off a
coming.
hardwood.
Coming this way.
So
Here we go.
You smell
Yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah.
That's her. That's my bad.
Oh, wow.
Or is it? Or is it?
Or
I don't know.
and what have you been feeding her? That's the real question.
Diarrhea?
Yeah.
No. So the Warrior dies in the WWE. They have this new network. It's set to compete with UFC. They're kind of short on content, so they did like a 6-hour tribute to Warrior, and one of the hours was guys who clearly hated him having to say nice things about him.
Really?
Especially Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
Yeah.
Who's on record for 20 hours saying what a piece of shit Warrior was, what a shitty wrestler he was, how he was just a maniac, and they're like, so, $1 Million Man, your thoughts on Warrior? And he just steams coming out of it. He's like, he was great. Great, yeah, he was good in Japan, that one match we had. So, that just goes to show you, hold on, Lois is making a move towards Gabe.
Uh-oh.
So,
Probably trying to kill Gabe.
all right, guys, we're at the 45-minute mark. This is, an impromptu pod. Let everyone give their Twitter handle. Tebow.
At the Teeb, at TheTeeb. Listen to Punch Drunk on iTunes. It's me, Tripoli, and Ari Shafir. Arguing and fighting.
Amaral.
You YouTube me and watch me do some stand-up comedy.
How do you spell your name and all that stuff?
AMARAL. Or you can go to thepaintingshow.com and check out this show me and Chris have been developing.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, thepaintingshow.com. You can see something that we're doing. It's pretty interesting. You can find me on Twitter at Street Credwards. That's street, like the street, and then CREDWARDS.
And just, real fast. I mean, I'm assuming you guys have gigs tonight, but what is the painting show? Can you, give a little tasty?
It is a celebrity interview show /
Kind of creative art psychology.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, check that out. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's very, very, it's a trip. It's drug shit.
Yeah,
is what it is.
it's very psychedelic.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's the kids love that shit, and
We don't want to
Gabe,
tell you to, like,
I can't wait to hear this plug.
oh, here we go.
What are you gonna bet? Plug 8 sporting books.
You can read my articles at MMAoddsbreaker.com, and my Twitter is at Gabriel Killian, and that's spelled exactly like the Bruce Springsteen song.
And how is that spelled for 18-year-olds who don't Just spell the fucking name.
Spell your fucking Twitter, dude.
Springsteen song. That's amazing.
GABRIELKILLIAN.
Gabriel Killian. I've never heard a Springsteen song. What song?
I was just kidding.
Okay. Well, way to bring the humor.
Just kidding.
Way to bring the humor to the podcast, Gabe.
You got it, buddy. That's what I'm here.
I was like, all right, I guess I gotta look up that Bruce Springsteen song.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I'm a pretty big Springsteen fan, and I just bought his box set, which is crazy. His box set is all songs he didn't release, and it's as good as the shit he released. I mean, it's like that's a guy who's like, and it's like 5 CDs, 70 songs. I mean, god damn. I'm waiting for the Fat Boys box set to come out, but
Aren't we all?
well, they're gonna have trouble getting the Beatbox to sign off on that. 'Cause
Yeah.
Notorious in
He's
contracts.
dead. That's crazy though. One of them would die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Who would ever guess that?
No, you guys. I have to. I don't know why this is happening right now, but are you guys rap fans?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
In all seriousness, I asked Fahim Anwar the other night, and he kind of laughed at me. Give an honest evaluation? How were the Fat Boys as rappers?
Cartoonish.
Would you say they were like the Kiss of rappers? I mean, kind of like.
Oh man, I guess the Fat Boys were kind of like.
Maybe more like the Twisted Sister of rappers.
Yeah, they're like the IC. They're like the black ICP.
Really? Are you telling me if they were skinny, they wouldn't have a record deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Based on their rapping ability?
Yes, 100%.
I mean, what would they rap about?
It's really not being fat. Although
Healthy diet and exercise.
Yeah.
I did like
fuck are the Fat
their
Boys?
acting chops in the movie Disorderlies. That was like their one shot at like, all right, guys, can you carry a movie? And they did not. You got a feel for Don Amici and Ralph Bellamy, who were in the Fat Boys, two of the greatest actors ever. I mean, where they go from movie number 1 to whatever was last made. Who are some great actors? They are top dudes. Not the kind of actors I watch, but
Of course not.
and I'm pretty sure Don Amici was in it. I know Ralph Bellamy was, but how bad did he feel? He's like, I can imagine what he said in his trailer.
Oh yeah.
Here I am, one of the greats, and I'm acting with these 3 fat. Well, he is from that era, so I mean,
Fellas, yeah,
Sure.
fellas is the
I'm
word
sure
we
he
would
called
use.
them gentlemen.
yeah, the Fat
sure.
Boys are back. All right, Gabe's getting up. Gabe looking as good as always. All right, this has been Inappropriate Earl Special Edition UFC 175 recap. We also broke into some comedy stuff. We got into the Fat Boys. By the way, I love the Fat Boys. Everyone listening, YouTube, the video, the Fat Boys and Chubby Checker doing the twist. And when they start twisting, that was awesome, man.
Shit starts breaking.
Chubby Checker in there, he's in on the mix, probably saying the same thing Ralph Bellamy was saying. How did I get caught up in this fucking project? And they also did a video with the Beach Boys, I think. Wipeout, yeah. And Brian Wilson, probably in one of his drug-induced comas.
Probably doesn't even know he's in that video.
He's like, so there you go. Inappropriate Earl. We're on SoundCloud. We're on iTunes. Leave a bad review or a good review. I don't care. I'm not making any money on this. I'm just trying to get past at the Comedy Store. Check out Roast Battle Tuesday nights. I'm 1-0. I beat Boone Shakalaka, and let me assure you, I used my 2 N-words about 2 minutes into the roast. So that's
It was actually a lot later than most people thought.
well, I got caught up in the adrenaline, and all right, we got phones ringing. That's it, guys. You guys are the best. Thanks for all the support. For Gabe Killian, who's in the bathroom room again. Chris Edwards, Jeff Amaral, Tony Hinchcliffe was here, but he actually was the only one of us who had a spot.
I've got to go make $25.
So he had a gig. Jason Tebow. We got Bobby Brown, the cherry pie girl, coming in Monday. I'm very excited about that.
All right.
You know that Warren song, "She's my cherry pie, cool drink of water, such a sweet surprise, tastes so good, make a grown man cry, sweet cherry pie." So the girl who was like deep throating the cherries in that video, I get all the good ones. And Stephen Piercy from Rat. I'd like to thank my sponsor for the show, who actually is Stephen Piercy from Rat, for providing the mic knuckles I use on the podcast. And that's about it. We'll see you at the next UFC card. Guys, thanks for the love and support. As Mauro Ranallo would say, see you.
Suck it.